Hello and welcome back to another OMNIHEROES video. In this video we're just going to go through Eudora and Dahlia. Who is the better unit? Now I've seen a lot of talk online that Dahlia without red runes is a much better unit than Eudora. Now, even with red runes, so we're going to put that to the test today and just see what sort of damage numbers we're looking at, what sort of survivability we're looking at, and also how helpful they are to the entire team. So first things first, we'll go through all of their abilities. So Eudora summons her Flaming Phoenix to launch 10 attacks against random enemy targets, dealing 70% physical damage each time. That's very important to keep. This particular ultimate is going to be very important, so keep a note of that. Now, second, Eudora swings her blazing swords, dealing 120% physical damage to one backline enemy. Not a great follow-up, but it all works as part of her kit. Now the next one, Inferno Dance. When Eudora deals a critical hit, there is a 50% chance to apply Healing Rupture on an effect on the enemy target for 1 round. What that means is, so it says down here, healing received during the effect will be converted to damage up to the caster's attack ×5. So what that means is, if you have an opposing, say you have an opposing Seraphina, she heals their entire team. Those who are hit with the Healing Rupture will in fact take damage, and a lot of damage at that, given the strength of Seraphina's heal. So it is a very powerful ability, especially against teams that do like to heal. For example, Lily and Leah. Well, teams with Lily and Leah on, so Glorians. You've got definitely Mystifiers. This hinders quite a bit. And also the Avengers. Teams as well like to heal quite a bit. Now the final passive, when Eudora takes lethal damage, her HP is reduced to 1 and she immediately recovers 50% of her max HP, and she can do that twice per battle, technically 3 times per battle. If she dies in round 1 and then she dies in round 8, or it will be able to trigger again in round 8, and then potentially trigger again in round 15. So there is that to take into consideration. I think that's how it works anyway. There is that to take into consideration. So altogether, not bad. She's a good unit, and she is still a very good unit without her runes. Now, if you haven't seen her runes already, we'll jump into those. As you can see, I've got full dodge on mine. The reason I've got full dodge is because I hadn't had enough to so I hadn't had enough to try and replace these. As you can see, I've had a couple of attempts, but not getting to where I need to be with these. Is what it is. I'll keep the full dodge. The Holy Shield does go in handy, and she gives her more survivability. She's already doing enough attack damage. Now, with the full red rune set, what that means is after taking an action, if the allied team's crit rate is greater than 200%, Eudora has a 100% chance of casting Blazing Melody once. And Blazing Melody, every time she takes an action, she has, effectively, she will swing her ultimate. And we'll show examples of this in the game. In fact, let's do that. Let's jump into a Eudora team right now, and I'll just show how much power Eudora is really packing with those red runes. Okay, so we're in my benchmark stage at the moment. What we're going to do is we're going to build a full Ethereals team, the team that they are supposed to be on, and we'll put in Mastema here because he does pair up slightly with Eudora. We do have the new unit Wukong in here as well, just because I've been using him quite a lot recently and I'm quite enjoying it. So we're going to take out these, we're going to put in all of the ethereal relics. It's a very standard ethereal setup. You've got your Leviathan, you've got your hammer, and you've got your scales as well. Some people like to use whip, but some people don't have it. This is the most commonly accessible legendary chrono relic for the ethereal team. So we're going to use this, just like I said, very standard setup. Eudora, really the only one. You can, if you don't, can replace Wukong with Lysandra, but I'm going to stick Wukong in just for the purpose of this video. We'll go ahead and jump in and just see how powerful Eudora really is. Now with Eudora, I chased Eudora for a very, very long time. She was such a required unit to pass through a lot of these stages, and still is. So as you can see, Blazing Melody kicks in because of her red runes. We do remove holy shields, and we've removed shields from these guys, or from the enemies. And we are looking to see how much damage she is able to do on this stage. The reason that I use this stage specifically is because it's a benchmark for all of my testing. So I will use this stage so we can compare the different damage outputs that are doing. So Eudora doing 21,000. It's nothing to write home about. Katrina doing more damage here. And the power from Eudora doesn't come in the fact that she is doing a lot of damage, or a lot of hits. The power from Eudora comes in the fact that she ultimates every single round. So she is outputting more damage altogether than your big hitters like Katrina. And she does that very effectively. So for me, chasing those red runes, it took me about 2 or 3 months. You know, it is what it is. But again, it's been very worth it for the entirety of the time that I've had her. And then I did summon on her Oath Recall. So I got 1 copy from the login bonus. I also got a copy from... picking her up via a ticket on the Oath Recall. I also summoned a copy of her as well, which is how I was able to get her up to the 8-star mark. And you really do need to get her up to that 8-star mark, primarily because you want to unlock the power behind. So you want to unlock the power behind that ultimate attack. So here, Wukong doing the most damage, actually out damaging Eudora. So he's doing 1500 million. Katrina out damaging Eudora, and Eudora down there as well. So let's go ahead and try this again. What we'll do is we'll take out Wukong and we'll pop in Atrops as well. Now we don't have a full setup, but we will gain a lot of power just because of Atrops being on the team. So I know it might be a bit boring going through all of this testing and seeing all of the different effects. You might have seen Eudora 1,000 times before, but this is the purpose of the video. You know, we're watching Eudora, we're watching her go to work, and then what we'll do is we'll switch over to Dahlia. Once we've finished this, I'll run through Dahlia's talents, and I'll run through the accessibility for it as well. So again, Eudora putting out much more damage now that Atrops is on the team, 190 million, plus then a follow-up attack as well. Katrina still out damaging Eudora, it's got to be said. And just something to keep in mind, maybe it's because of the dodge runes that I've got on her, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because I've not got the skin for Eudora, but it seems as though you need to pump a lot of resources into Eudora. And she's doing 102 million here. Now this is very different in PvP, and that's something that I'll move on to in a second. Katrina is not fast enough for PvP. Eudora is. Eudora is actually one of the fastest units, especially with her skin in the game. I think the only faster units are the support units. So again, Katrina doing the most damage, outputting the most. Eudora still at that 748 million mark. Is what it is. You know, Eudora, she's done all of those ults, but Katrina's still able to output more damage in one go. So we'll move on to Dahlia. So, this is Dahlia. Now, Dahlia is a very recent addition to the game. She's just been introduced on the previous Oath recall. We're going to have a look here. So this is Floral Requiem, first ability. Her ultimate skill deals up to 450% magical damage to all enemies, with increased damage of 100% against male characters. That does come in handy, because it's an additional stack. It's not included as part of the 450. It's an additional 100%. So something to keep in mind. She will be doing more damage to male bosses. She will be doing more damage to male-centric teams. There aren't that many male-centric teams. I think the Mystifiers come to mind. Avengers are out of the question. Dooms are out of the question. There isn't really many male-centric teams, so it doesn't come in too handy, but it will come in handy against boss missions, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Second one, Dahlia deals up to 120% magic damage to frontline enemies, with increased damage of 100% against male characters. Again, it does come in handy, but I'll show you that in a little bit. Now, if you do get up to 8 stars, damage dealt is increased to 540, which is a massive bonus. And then damage is increased up to 144% for her at 9 stars, so it is what it is. Now, switches positions with an ally before each action. For each additional 1 buff stacks, attack is increased by 30% and max HP is increased by 60%, affecting both the swapped ally and self up to 50 stacks. So that means that attack is increased by, I believe it's 1500%, and HP is increased by 3000%. So just something to keep in mind when you are building. This is a very impactful. Now, when you get up to 11 stars, every 1% in reflect rate additionally increases attack by 1%. And then finally, when swapping positions, if you get up to 7 stars, when swapping positions with Dahlia, the ally has a 100% chance to copy her buffs. So you want her to be swapping about as much as possible so that all of your allies can copy all buffs. It's a very powerful ability. This is really powerful. The fact that you can copy any buff, that includes Holy Shield, that includes normal shields, that includes defensive buffs, that includes Fortitude, that includes the Blessing effect. I believe it includes Blessing effect. If you've got multiple instances of Blessing, the Awaken effect gets copied. A lot of different options and a lot of different combo elements that you can potentially work towards with Dahlia. So she's a very explosive unit. Now, let's jump back into some gameplay for her. We've gone through her runes. I've just got full DPS for her. I've not got Reflect because the Reflect will kick in at 11 and 12 stars respectively. So if I do, I might potentially change them up to Reflect runes later. But as it stands, she's a DPS unit for me, for sure. Bear with me. Okay, so we're back in this same stage. What we can do, we can leave the relics the same, and the reason I'm going to leave the relics the same is because they are all Doom's relics as well. So, I will build a Doom's team. Where are we up to? Yeah, I'll build a Doom's team. Relatively standard Doom's team. I think I will put in Doris and I'll put in Lamia as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch around. We'll put Doris up front. I suspect Doris may potentially die, but we'll see. If so, I'll just change her out with Aishta. In fact, I will. I'll do that now. I know Doris is going to die on that front row. She's very weak. So we'll jump into the battle and just see what sort of damage Dahlia is able to output as well. Now, bear in mind, she's with Halissa, who does increase a lot of... she gains a lot of buffs. Now she is also with Ophelia, and Ophelia will increase attack based on every time HP is increased. So just something to keep in mind. As you can see, lots of different buffs going on. Ophelia going to be providing a lot of attack support. We'll see what Dahlia can do here. So 1,000 million. That's just about as much as Katrina was doing. As you can see, Halissa also out damaging Eudora. Not consistently, not over time. I think Eudora would out damage Halissa, but I don't think she's going to be able to out damage Dahlia in this instance. So yep, she's doing 900 million with her secondary active, which can be a very powerful effect. So yeah, as you can see. So that's Themis down, thanks to that reflect damage kicking in. And there we go, so we'll get the one more attack. So on a basic, that's 455 million. She's outputting a fair ton of damage. So as you can see, 2,000 million, outputting more damage than Katrina, outputting more damage than Wukong was, outputting more damage than Eudora was as well. So what we'll do is we're going to try this again, and we will just change out one of these units. We'll change out Ayushta. In fact, no, we'll change out Lamia, and we'll put in Atrops in here as well. And the reason is, for fair comparison, we've built an Ethereal's team with Atrops, and we'll build a Doomsdayer's team with Atrops. And there's one more team that I would like to show on this stage. Just before I do, what I'll do is I'll wrap this video up. This will be a part 1, because there's just so much, there's just so much to these units. I've not covered PvP yet, which I do want to do. I want to show them off in PvP and just show what the difference is there as well. So with this, as you can see, we're doing much more damage now that Atrops is on the team. You'll see Dahlia do massive amounts of damage. Yeah, 18 million. I've seen much higher from Dahlia. I've seen much higher from Dahlia. So yeah, there we go. Unfortunately, Atrops able to survive thanks to her red runes, is what it is. But we'll see here. We'll get the HP increase, or not the HP increase, but the buff increase, and we're doing much more damage now with everybody on the team. It's a really powerful team, especially with the 3 at the back. They do a lot of damage, but we'll just show what the difference is. So here, as you can see, Halissa almost doing as much damage as Dahlia, because we added in Atrops rather than adding in anybody else. So we'll try this one more time. I'm going to try one different setup. I'm going to put Astrid in, and we will put in, in fact, I think we can go ahead and put Lachesis in as well. And the reason for that is because I want to hit as many of them as I can, and the speed plays a factor in here as well. So in fact, we'll go with you, and then we'll go with Catherine as well. So in fact, no, this is the team that I'm confident with, and we'll take Dahlia out, and we'll try Eudora in this team first. And what we're going to do is going to put in all damage relics, and we're going to try Dahlia and Eudora in this team with the exact same relic setup, exact same everything. So we'll just see how much damage we are able to do with this team. It's a pretty standard team. You've got your two, you've got your 3 strikers, which will increase attack over time, and you also have Astrid with her epic runes, giving a 0.5% attack increase to everybody on here, or everybody on the team. You've also got Atrops, who will double ult as well. So as you can see, Eudora still not doing too much damage. Potentially, like I said, very different with DPS runes, but it's just not something something that I'm going to chase. I've got a full set, so it is what it is. So we do get the healing, we get the attack increases, and now we get a double attack increase from Atrops as well. So we will see Astrid attack, and yep, so she's just taken out the enemy over there. So you see, still doing a fair amount of damage. That's 19 million and then 3,600 million following on from that. So effectively wipe the team. It is what it is. That's just how these things go. Astrid to take out this Persephone, and then hopefully we'll see Eudora No. So it was 900 million on the secondary ultimate. Plus then you had her actual ultimate following up. So let's go ahead and see how much damage. 2,800 million. She did the majority of the damage. So let's try that again, but with... Where have you gone? Go ahead and try that with Dahlia. So this is exactly the same team setup. We've done nothing, we've changed nothing except we've popped Dahlia in. Now Dahlia can potentially switch with Atrops to make her even stronger, but because we're using the exact same team setup, we're not going to change anything. We're just using it for comparison purposes. We're not trying to get the most damage, we're just trying to get a standard setup for her on this one. So we'll get the attack increase. Again, we'll get more attacks and even more attacks. We'll see Astrid hopefully take somebody down. No damage this time. So we'll see Dahlia switch with Catherine, and it's 7,800. This is at 2 stars. And Catherine there to do 2,000 as well. So just something to keep in mind. There we go, 1,500 on her follow-up attack as well. So that's how much damage we were actually doing. This is how much potential damage she can do. The reason that it doesn't show up like 16 million damage, 30 million damage, however much, is because there is a limit to enemies' health. So you can only do so much damage on this stage. You can only physically only do 3,500 damage. Sorry, 3,500 million damage. That's the level. That's how much health they all have. That's it. So let me know what you guys think. There will be a part 2 coming up over the next couple of hours. Please stay tuned. I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and we will have a conclusion in the next video.